Well, good evening, members of the Fourth Estate. We are here at the Supreme Court once again to celebrate the fruits of our Constitution of Kenya, whereby the courts are once again standing up to the executive and telling them that the rule of law still guides this nation. The courts are saying that nobody is above the law, irrespective of their position in government. Whether someone is a politician or not, the law still applies to them. It is quite unfortunate that a constitutional office holder can be hauled to court and be arrested publicly, even when the law exists that puts across mechanisms that can be used to handle such cases. The controller of budget has been in the media and has been in the media for a long time. And what has been happening is that she is being haunted because of her role as a controller of budget. We are here and the courts are stating that her office, irrespective of the office that she holds, she has to be protected by the Constitution, just like everybody has to be protected by the Constitution. The Constitution is saying she cannot be discriminated against simply because she is holding a constitutional office. The lawyers that you see around here, which have come on record for the controller of budget, have told the court that the client is being harassed, that the client is being haunted, not because there is a substantive offense that the client has committed, but just because of her role as a controller of budget. And therefore, I will let my seniors speak as to the petition that we have filed in court. And Justice Mwita, by defending the Constitution, has reiterated that the law has to be followed. He has given the parties an opportunity to appear in court to respond to our petition, which he has clearly said that the Constitution raises some important questions that have to be addressed. So the parties will be given an opportunity to come before the court so that the court can make a decision on the matter. I welcome my seniors to speak on the same. Thank you so much.
Today to celebrate this victory, and we are here to say that there's no one who is above the Constitution. The Constitution must be respected, and independent office holders must be treated with dignity, and no opportunity should be presented in a way that restricts them from performing their role. Thank you.
Thank you, members of the Fourth Estate. Now, Margaret Nyakango is a gallant Kenyan. She's a heroine who needs to be celebrated for standing firm and defending public resources. But even while she's doing that, and as it has become the tradition of some people, orchestrating or creating some evil scheme, well, there are some politicians who have come up with an evil scheme meant, number one, to frustrate her, number two, to ensure that she's removed from her office. But one thing that we must recall is that Margaret Nyako, the controller of budget, enjoys some constitutional protection as an independent constitutional office holder. And for that reason, there has been attempts in the recent past to arrest her, to intimidate her, to molest her, and to ensure that she's removed from that office. You will recall that not so long ago, she was arraigned in the Chief Magistrate's Court in Mombasa, where she took plea. But through the intervention of her area Member of Parliament, this is Honorable Steve Mogaka, she filed a petition in Nairobi, and Justice Mugambi issued orders stopping the prosecution of Margaret Nyako. And to that extent, when we appeared before court yesterday, on the 13th day of December 2023, the court was firm that it shall not proceed with the prosecution of Margaret Nyako in Mombasa due to the petition that has been filed by her area Member of Parliament, Honorable Steve Mogaka. Subsequently, there has been attempts, either orchestrated, either by a design or an evil scheme that has been orchestrated by the office of the EACC and that of the DPP, to malign her name and to prosecute her yet again for offenses that are unknown to her. And for that reason, on the 11th day of December 2023, we approached the High Court And Justice Mwita, today, Justice Enoch Chacha Mwita today issued some conservatory orders, which essentially has stopped the EACC, has stopped the office of the DPP or the DCI from proceeding with any further arrests, prosecution or arraignment of Margaret Nyako, the controller of budget. And to that extent, I join my colleagues in celebrating the Constitution. We are living in a new constitutional dispensation, and we cannot allow people to treat our Constitution as if it is a piece of paper. We cannot allow people who have evil ideas, people who have evil plans to run over the current constitutional dispensation. And I thank the Honorable Court, I thank the courts for continuing to stand firm during this era where there is concerted efforts to mutilate the Constitution, to claw back the gains that we have earned since the promulgation of the Constitution in the year 2010. And I'm hoping that moving forward, when we return in court on the 13th day of March 2024, the DPP, the DCI, and the EACC shall tell the court what is it that they have discovered that Margaret Nyakango, the controller of budget, long after she has whistleblown, long after she has given us revelations that were known to us about squandering of or the pilferage or the wastage of public resources, that they now find fault in her, that they now have criminal charges against her, which they want to use as a backdoor or a means that they want to use so that she can be removed from office. So to that extent, I wish to also welcome my senior, Mr. Danstan Omari, so that he can illuminate our minds on other matters that are pertinent to what has brought us here. Thank you.
The control of budget enjoys that constitutional immunity within the provisions of the Constitution. What has happened? The state being annoyed with the manner in which the control of budget has exposed the rotten government, designed a way to remove her from office. First, a charge sheet purporting that the control of budget was a director of a SACCO. We rushed to court, provided evidence that she was never elected as a director of that SACCO. And therefore, that was a move that was calculated to ensure that the reasons provided for removal of Nyakango under Article 251 is that once she's charged, they'll go to Parliament, file a petition, take it to the President will appoint a tribunal, the tribunal, meanwhile, the control of budget will be suspended, and once the tribunal that is appointed by the executive delivers the decision, just like the Cherera, the Nyakango's fate will have been sealed. Went to court, and that matter was stopped. The real issue today that we are here is our petition is premised on two issues. One, can a constitutional office bearer be charged in a criminal court before she is removed officially from that office? We provided to the court authorities where 5 judges sat when the Deputy Chief Justice they tried to arraign her to court. And the courts sat and provided a judgment of 5 judges. And among the judges' recommendations, which is the law of this country, you can never take a constitutional office holder in the discharge of a mandate as a control of budget through a criminal process until you have removed her by a legal mechanisms provided for under Article 251. This was the position that the DPP, the DCI faced the Waterloo when they were told that Deputy Chief Justice Mwelu go to JSC, get her removed from being a judge, then arraign her in court. we invoked the same provisions, and the judge has agreed with us that you cannot take a constitutional office holder. They have temporal immunity the same way the President of the Republic of Kenya has permanent immunity. Constitutional office holders have temporal immunity against criminal sanctions until they have been removed from office. The judge has agreed with us and stopped charging, arresting, arraigning, persecuting one Nyakango from office. The second question that we raised before the judges is the manner in which senior constitutional office holders are being dealt with. And this might be a testing ground for many of the constitutional office holders to be hounded of office. We know there are more than 11 to 13 constitutional officers with around 3 to 9 constitutional office holders. We know judges of the court of the High Court, judges of the Court of Appeal, judges of the Supreme Court enjoy that immunity. We know the director of public prosecution can also not be removed or cannot be charged unless Article 158 is invoked. In summary, today we have come before the Supreme Court. Only the petition for presidential election is covered by media from this place. We have come to the nakedness of the justice system. We have come to the seat of the name Supreme. There are only two Supremes. One, the Supreme Court, and two, the Supreme Law, which is the Constitution. It is historic. It is fundamental. It is a landmark ruling by the judge that the Constitution is supreme. Any act contrary to the Constitution, as provided for in Article 2, is null and void. So the act of the DPP, the act of the EACC, the act of the executive wanting to charge Nyakango has been declared unconstitutional against the tenets of the supremacy of the law that governs this country, because this Supreme Court and this Supreme Law is the law that was enacted by 55 million Kenyans. It was not enacted by 349 members of parliament. It's a big win and we celebrate that. Kwa wale ambao kidogo lugha ya Kiswahili waweze kuelewa, ule ambaye anasimamia bajeti na kuangalia mambo ya taratibu za fedha za taifa, ambaye ni Margaret Nyako, serikali ilijaribu kufanya harakati za kumkamata na kumfikisha mahakamani. Tumeweza kupata oda kutoka mahakama kuu ya kusimamisha asikamatwe, asirundikwe kwenye jela, asiaibishwe vile alivyoaibishwa kule Mombasa, kwa sababu katiba katika kipengele cha 251 inasema kwamba hawezi shtakiwa kabla motion haijaenda bunge, bunge ikatengeneza, ikapitisha, rais akapewa, rais akachagua tume, kisha ile tume ikamchunguza, ndiposa akaweza kutoka pale. Ni ushindi mkubwa kwa Wakenya, kwa sababu yaliyokuwa yanakuja ni kwamba wale ambao wana vyeo vya kiserikali ambavyo vinaitwa constitutional office wangefagiliwa wote. Kwa hivyo ile tsunami ambayo ilikuwa imetengenezwa imeweza kusimamishwa, na ndiposa tumekuja kwenye mahakama kuu ya Supreme Court, ambapo hapa ndipo katiba ya Kenya inalindwa na ile mahakama ambayo imezungumza. Asanteni. I'll announce that they have run away.